Spoiler alert, this fragrance is in today's video.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Oops. Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. Today we're talking fragrances that don't cost that much, that smell like they do cost that much. That's right, cheap fragrances that smell expensive, or affordable fragrances that smell more expensive than they actually cost. Whatever, that's what it is. That's what we're talking about. I'll have all the fragrances that we're gonna be talking about here today linked down in the description below. And as always, the usual caveat when we're talking about fragrances that are cheap, they are cheap if you get them from a discounter. If you get them at full retail, they will not be cheap. Just because I know there's gotta be at least one guy out there who hears about one of these fragrances, goes to Macy's and is like, what? I was told this was cheap. That is normal full retail price. I have been bamboozled. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, we can talk about some fragrances. Since I spoiled it, let's talk about this one first from Rasi Dar, which is a cologne fragrance, a clone of none other than Valentino's V, which is discontinued, which means it's expensive. And this one is not expensive. This is actually one of the cheaper fragrances that Rasi has made. This one you can find for right at about $20 usually. Now, I will say in terms of presentation that it maybe looks a little bit cheap because the cap is just a really flimsy plastic one. The bottle is kind of nondescript other than it has kind of like a, what is that, sort of a star shape to it? But this one smells quite nice. The quality is there. It's got a good amount of vanilla, has tonka as well, so kind of warm, a little bit sweet. You have some floral nuances to the fragrance as well. Also have a nice punch of spices off the top with this one. I think it smells really pleasant, even off the top, and I bring that up because some people, the opening here doesn't quite work for them when they first spray the fragrance on. Yeah, I know, spraying it on again, they'll say that it's like a bit too chemically, but I don't think it's actually that bad. There are a lot of other cologne fragrances with way more aggressive openings than this one. But do be aware of that the opening may not be to everybody's taste, but really quickly on it settles down, smells great. And again, really nice alternative to V for next to nothing. Oh, and I do want to bring up that there is a pour homme and a pour femme version of this fragrance. So if you're looking for this one in particular, looking for the pour homme, just in case. I know it should be pretty obvious, but you know, just in case, because they look pretty similar. After that, Pie from Givenchy, and I feel bad because I have my old oversized bottle of it. I don't have the proper looking bottle. This is how Pie is supposed to look, way cooler. So this one, it was a bit of a hit when it came out. I mean, people that were around when this was new or hadn't been out that long, they know. Perfume by Alberto Marias, a really nice ambery fragrance, still smells very good today, but it did come out late 90s. So to some of you out there, you know, you may smell this and be like, oh, it doesn't smell, you know, hyper modern, but I think it still works really well. So this one has vanilla, almond, and tonka, along with some herbaceous notes in there as well. You can find it for just a touch under $50 at discounters, sometimes a little bit less than that if you can maybe scoop up a tester on the cheap or something. And depending on where you're shopping, it might actually be more than that, but you can absolutely easily find this for below that $50 threshold. Really nice for fall and winter time, and even though it used to be a little bit of a hype beast when it came out and people were really, you know, clamoring for it and scooping it up, nowadays, completely under the radar. So it's gonna smell actually, in my opinion, quite unique compared to what most people were wearing. And with like vanilla fragrances, amber fragrances really being in vogue right now for men, this kind of is coming back around, this style. After that, we have Rocus Man. This is the intense version, although I would say also the original Man you could go with. These ones have been made fun of ever since they came out, the original Rocus Man, just because of this bottle shape. Ain't nothing wrong with this shape of bottle. This is a normal bottle. This is a normal looking bottle. So this is kind of a coffee cappuccino type fragrance. Also has lavender, pretty decent dose of lavender in there. The coffee is not like that roast coffee, you know, that kind of burnt coffee that you can sometimes get, which I like that type of coffee note, don't get me wrong, but that's not really what's going on here. This one is more milky, creamy, kind of sweet, and then again has that lavender in there as well that gives it like a classic masculine touch. So this one just recently hit US discounters, became more easy to find in the US for a better price, and like I said before, you could still go for the original Rocus Man, which is even easier to find, even cheaper than this one. This is one I've loved for a long time, London by Burberry. Now I have 2 bottles of this stuff. I have this little dinky bottle, little 1 ounce bottle that has the cap, came with the full presentation, and I have a 100 ml bottle that is a tester that did not come with the cap. So I have somehow managed to get the worst of all worlds. The only one that has the cap, which I usually like having, is tiny and minuscule and pathetic, and then the large bottle has no cap and looks doofy. Now London is a scent that is perfecto for fall and winter time, especially holiday season. You know, when it's a little chilly outside, you get the fireplace going, hanging out with family, stuff like that. This is tailor-made for those situations. Has port wine as one of the notes, along with a nice dose of spice, warm spices, and also tobacco in there as well. So London, this one is one that I will always own. If this somehow became very difficult to find, I would absolutely scoop up yet another backup bottle, because this is one of those ones that just every time I smell it, it puts me in a good mood. Really cozy, warm, sweet, alluring, and even a touch sexy. Butterfingers, man. I'm so lucky that there is thick carpet in this room. After London, we have Yolo Parfum. So the original Yolo I am not a fan of. I know it's a classic and all that stuff, but it's just so synthetic, smells like cough syrup. It's so strong, it's headache inducing. I've tried to wrap my head around it and enjoy it, and I really can't. But this is something different. It really has nothing to do with the original outside of the coloration of the fragrance here and of course the name. So don't worry, this is not just a parfum version of the original Yolo. That would be, I don't even actually want to, I don't want to smell that. So you have iris in here, little gourmand touch to it, kind of like Stronger With You if it had an iris flanker almost. Kind of in that style, in that wheelhouse. Quality is pretty good here. The performance is nice. The price point, about 30 bucks from discounters, give or take. A little bit up or down, depending on if you get the larger size bottle or smaller size bottle. But I think that this is a great buy, especially if you enjoy sweet iris scents. This is a good one. It's gonna be overlooked a bit because of the fragrance, you know, the original, and also just Yolo in general, but this is great. Le Parfum is dope. We got kind of a weird one up next. Onyx Royalty by Maluma, even at full retail, not that expensive, 65 bucks, I believe is the MSRP on that one, but I've seen it for less at other stores online. And this one is essentially a cologne fragrance. I don't know that it's really marketed that way, but that's basically what you got going on here. I was just like spraying over in that direction. This is really similar to 1 Million Privé by Paco Rabanne. Now it's not the exact same, but you do get that kind of sweet tobacco note that Privé had in here. And 1 Million Privé was actually my favorite 1 Million fragrance. I thought it was awesome. And of course that means it got discontinued. And I seem to recall that I reviewed 1 Million Privé back at the house that I was living in when I started the channel. So I used to do these reviews like underneath the weeping willow tree that was out there. And I think that was like the last video that I filmed underneath that tree. Hey everybody, Ashton here with 10 Cents with another fragrance review. Today we're going to be taking a look at a fragrance from the house of Paco Rabanne, 1 Million Privé. I'm going down like memory lane here. A lot of you, the majority of you probably have no clue what I'm talking about, but yeah, I used to go out there and shoot videos there. So like 1 Million Privé is kind of a special fragrance to me, is what I'm saying. And this reminds me of that one. Now it doesn't completely replace it. I don't know that anything can, unless something comes out and just absolutely crushes it 100% the same as that one. But this is as close as I've smelled to 1 Million Privé since that one went away. So really nice scent here on the cheap, even at full retail. Let's keep it clone-y up next with Paris Corner Cherry Cola. This is in their Emir line, and this one is a clone of Tonka Cola from Mancera. I've always thought it was kind of funny that this line of fragrances from them is like all Mancera clones, but then the bottle looks like a Boucheron bottle. But whatever works. So these are some of the better clones that Paris Corner does, in my opinion, these Mancera ones. They're really, really close on the cheap. And this one does have that cola kind of effervescence, that sweetness, good amount of cherry in there as well, which that's what the fragrance's name is, cherry cola, so yeah. So with this one, essentially, it's pretty simple. Do you want Tonka Cola on the cheap? The answer is yes. Here you go. It's done really well, has a nice sparkle to it, nice sweetness to it, good staying power also. Up next, we got one from Varvatos. It is XX Artisan. And I will tell you that nowadays, basically all Varvatos you could put in this list, the whole house. If you go to Joma Shop right now, or really just any discounter, you type in, Varvatos and look at the fragrances, pretty much all of them are under 30 bucks. So maybe not great for Varvatos, but if you're looking for scents that are good quality for a low price, it's good for you. Yeah, I'm gonna just pull it up really quickly here. Like I said, this could be any website, Fragrance Net, Joma Shop, whatever. 4.2 ounce bottle size of Artisan Pure, 35. This one, 35. Varvatos Vintage, 32. Artisan, 34. Artisan Blue, 31. XX Indigo, 35. Then you got testers around 30 bucks. You got the original Varvatos at 33. The Nick Jonas Silver, 33. So there you go. Essentially, if you get the 4.2 ounce size bottle, you're looking at anywhere between 30 and 35, depending on the fragrance. If you get a tester, it's gonna be lower than that. If you get the 2.5 ounce size bottle, it's gonna be around 25 bucks. And that's for pretty much the entire line of fragrances right now from Varvatos. And I will say, this is not just a me thing. In general, people all agree that Varvatos makes fragrances that smell of good quality. They don't smell cheap. This one is a really nice vetiver fragrance. It's a clean kind of a vetiver, bright, a little bit zingy, very classy, easy to wear to the office, nice casually, good spring, summer, fall, I would say. Really, really enjoyable. Not the same as gray vetiver, but if you wanted something that you would wear in pretty much the same situations as gray vetiver, but you don't want to spend gray vetiver money, you could get something like that as an alternative. Yeah, it's good stuff. We got after that one, Dsquared Original Wood. Now, the Dsquared wood line has never really been massive. It's had people that really enjoy them, that buy them, that wear them, but it's never been a huge line of fragrances, right? And it's kind of interesting because Dsquared had this whole line of wood fragrances, all these he wood and she wood fragrances, discontinued them, and then came out with more wood fragrances, but in a new bottle. They were like, this didn't work. What should we do? The same thing, but in a different bottle. It's genius. I will say, the cap is great. It's magnetic, and it's good. Has a little maple leaf on top, and also on top of the atomizer. Pretty nice, really affordable. And this one smells similar to the original he wood, which probably makes sense because again, it is called original wood. So they're kind of telling you what they're doing here. Very clean, somewhat zingy, masculine, woody fragrance. So this is gonna be for somebody who likes woody scents. I mean, it's really on the nose. That's what this is. We also have a good amount of violet in here and kind of a clean aquatic feel off the top also. And at the price this goes for now, it's a steal because it's pretty cheap from discounters. After that, we got one from Swiss Arabian, Shaykhof Oud Azrak. This one I got from Joma Shop. I think it was in like the 35 range, if memory serves correctly. And it is stupid good for that price point. It's kind of similar to Honey Oud or Honey Oud from Montal, which is one of my favorites from that house. Yeah. So it packs a punch. It's got that kind of oudiness to it. It's not a super challenging oud fragrance, but it's also not a really ultra easygoing, designer type of oud that's just really sweet, dark woods and spices. This has sweetness from that honey, and it's like a rich, like thick honey note here, or that's how it comes across anyway. And then you have that oud with just a touch of funk to it. Not too bad though. Man, it just projects like a beast for me. Smells great, the quality, not that expensive. And that sweetness just balances that out so well. So this stuff rules. Got two more up next, Dunhill Icon. Pretty good price from discounters, not that expensive, really nice quality to it. Great for the office, good for spring. You could wear it in summer and fall. In summer, don't go as heavy on the atomizer here. And it's got this great, very classy, kind of white floral neroli sweetness when you first spray it on. Also have some citrus off the top, pepper, some woods as it dries down, including vetiver, which led some people to compare this to like Terre d'Hermès or Declaration by Cartier. But it actually comes across a little bit closer to something like Bulgari Man Wood Neroli. Although I would say between the two that this is going to come across a little bit classier, a little bit more buttoned up than the Bulgari, with not quite as much of a focus on the Neroli. Has a little bit more of that, you know, spiciness coming through here, and the way the woodiness comes across is a little bit different, but it's, you know, it's a little bit closer to that style. The bottle is nice and heavy. The fragrance smells great. You can pick it up for about 40 bucks, which is still a really good price point for the quality you get here. And last but not least, Rocus once again, Mustache EDP. Smells similar to Tuxedo by Yves Saint Laurent. This one, when it was difficult to find, it was pretty expensive. You know, it would be going for like 60 bucks at discounters, sometimes 70 on eBay, maybe even more than that. Thankfully, now you can find this pretty easy, and you can find it for typically, I think, under 40 bucks. So really, really nice at that price point, because kind of like the Icon here, it's got a really nice presentation. It looks classy, it feels heavy, it doesn't feel cheap at all. When I say that, I'm just talking presentations feeling good, looking good. Nothing to do with how they smell. They don't smell similar. Deep, warm, rich, resinous, elegant. It's just top-notch stuff at a bottom dollar price. And I will say, kind of like Varvatos, that Rocus, by and large, from discounters, pretty cheap. So you could get like L'Homme Rocus, that's not that expensive. This one, Mustache Eau de Toilette, Man Intense, all of those for a pretty good price. So Mustache Eau de Parfum, wrapping it up. 12 fragrances don't smell that cheap, but they are that cheap. That's a bad way of saying it. They smell costlier than they cost. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you all with another fragrance video. I'll see you later.